The following commentary is for entertainment purposes only. The opinions shared aren't personal, often said in jest, and have no merit in the real lives of the cast members. With that being said, let's binge, let's banter, and most importantly, let's move on. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Queenie, for those who don't know me, reviewing Love is Blind Germany Season 2, Episodes 1 and 2. Before I get into it, please make sure to like this video, subscribe and hit the bell, and leave a comment down below. I've actually reviewed Season 1, so if you did not see that, go ahead and watch that. But we are diving straight into Season 2 already. It's not too dramatic. And there are some people that we can fall in love with. There are some people who are a little bit irritating with the way that they're moving in the pods, but I think this is a wholesome season so far. So we are gonna start with Jan and Loanne. He is often friend zoned, right? So he is seen as the nice guy, and one of the girls was like, yeah, but my neighbor is nice too, which... real. I don't want to perpetuate that whole nice guys finish last thing, but there is a need for like some passion, some fire, some oomph, you know what I'm saying? And being the nice guy all the time just doesn't really do it for a lot of people. So Loanne was the one who was like, you know what, you're nice, but I actually want to pursue something with you, even with that niceness. I like it. You're a little bit quirky. That's cool. So they talk about conflict resolution, and she says that she's the type of person to want to reflect on things and not just be reactive. However, she is going to address the issue head on. She's not just going to pretend like nothing is happening, harbor those feelings, and then explode all of a sudden way down the line. And he agrees with that. Honestly, the more that he talks to her, he's like, you are my dream person. Loanne also decides at some point that she's gonna lock in on him. We didn't see her speak to anybody else in the pods, but she does decide that her top priority is going to be Jan. He says he loves her diction and that she has mastered, the genitive case. I had to Google that. I did. It's related to grammar. So yeah, he loves that she's prim and proper. She's good at conflict resolution. She's sweet. She's bubbly. She's into him, which is a big plus already. This connection seems to be going really well. Next, we have Josie and Constantine. So he hears from another person that she loves German bar music, I think it was. That person was put off because he likes more of a techno vibe, and he was like, oh no, I absolutely love that. So he went in already being optimistic about his connection with Josie. As they talk more, they do realize that they both love carnivals, they both love après skiing, although he hasn't been in a while. They're also both from the country, they love to laugh, and they also love to party. So their first date was perfection, right? And the next conversation, they do get a little bit deeper. They talk about upbringing, and unfortunately, they were both parentified at a young age. So they are both the oldest in their family, and due to circumstances, they had to step into a parent role when they really weren't supposed to. And they both kind of hold a little bit of resentment because of that. They had so many different little points of connection. I want to call it the red string theory, but I'm not quite sure if it applies here. If it does, let me know. One point of connection that made them both very emotional was the fact that her grandfather, who passed not too long ago, was buried, and the song, the CF Cologne anthem, was playing at his funeral. And Constantine's father, although he did not write the song, he sang the song. And that made both of them be so emotional. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so sweet. And to make it clear, this is not the same as old girl Megan from Love is Blind. Your son is diabetic? My dad was diabetic. And you feel like that's a sign for you to stay with somebody? Like, these two, they have that like little sign thing, but they also had so many commonalities. With Megan, there were clear lifestyle differences, life goal differences that she just ignored because there was that one sign that she believed was enough. At least these two, they have those little signs, but they also have compatibility at the core of their relationship. So I'm thinking, wow, everything's honky-dory. These two are absolutely gonna get engaged. Then this man, Constantine, is talking about, oh, I do have a dark side. I'm thinking, here we go, right? So this girl is walking into her date. She's blissfully unaware that this man is about to drop a bomb on her, right? So they walk in and he's like, this is going to be serious. So she braces herself. And he says that he honestly lived a pretty good life, but he kind of lost his way some years back when he was really heavy into partying and drinking and just living on the wild side, right? Some years later, he did find out that he had a tumor. I'm not trying to downplay the fact that he had a tumor, I thought because he said he had a dark side, it was going to be something like, oh yeah, I was involved in a fatal car crash or something. Like, to me, having a health diagnosis wouldn't relate to having a dark side. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't. Anyways, they did find out that tumor was malignant, and after a very intensive surgery, it was completely removed. He is totally free of the tumor. He does have a slight side effect. He has poor hearing in one of his ears, so he does wear a hearing aid, but you could barely see it. And she's like, oh, that's totally fine. Honestly, like, you're so brave. It doesn't change how I feel about you. Honestly, Constantine, what was that about? Don't say you have a dark side and then you mention a health condition that you cannot help. I thought when he was starting with oh yeah, I lost my way, I thought it was going to be something, oh my gosh, this man has a murder charge or something. Actually, it can be murder if it was an accident. I thought it was going to be something like, dark, but it wasn't as dark as I thought it was. So, of course, because their connection has been so great, he proposes and she obviously says yes. Next, we have Dustin and Yasmine. I was thinking, why the hell is Dustin talking to himself? Because the whole time this man is talking, they're not showing the woman that he's talking to. And I'm like, yo, what's that about? So they're asking each other about their dating history. And she's like, honestly, my looks sometimes pigeonhole me. I'm thinking, well, girl, what do you look like? They show this girl, don't get me wrong, she's attractive. She's very beautiful. But like, she's making it seem like, oh yeah, my beauty really holds me back. I get pigeonholed when I'm dating. Do you really? You look like a damn Barbie doll. Girl, be so for real. You know who she reminds me of? Hanny from last season. Because Hanny also made it seem like dating was so hard for her because she's just so beautiful. Like, really? Okay. Yasmine does open up about her family. She says that she didn't grow up in the best of conditions. She was basically living in poverty. Her family was a family of hoarders. And so all of that just framed how she looked at life. She was trying her best to separate herself from her past, which is in part why she presents herself the way that she does. But that kind of upbringing made her feel very insecure. She's constantly yearning for stability in life. And so being with somebody like Dustin is good because he speaks very highly of his family, which is attractive to her because one, it speaks to his character, but two, it makes her excited to be a part of a family that is so loving. She's also interested in a guy named Andy. So Andy intrigues her because he's older. He's 12 years older. He at first is like, are you sure you're okay with that? She's like, yeah, that's cool. Ain't no problem. He says that in a relationship, he brings reliability, stability, all the things that she's looking for, right? He seems very well put together. His childhood wasn't so peachy. He did have an absent father, and so he feels like that contributed to him growing up in a bit of a tumultuous situation, but obviously he's been able to thrive outside of that. He loves the fact that she is so bubbly and out there. And, so is he. Maybe a little bit too much because he is so social and he is so charming. I think he also said he used to do like pageants back in the day and whatever. So he is very aware that he would be considered attractive by a lot of people. And his personality is also attractive to a lot of people. In the pods, he's interested in not only Yasmine, but also Naja and Celia. So these women are all intrigued by him. He says he can't yet pinpoint who his favorite is, but he definitely wants to continue to explore all three connections, right? It is to be noted that as this man is talking to, I think it was Celia, he does admit that he does struggle with jealousy, just a smidge. Just a little bit. And he does expect his woman to course correct if he calls out a situation that looks like somebody else is maybe pushing up on his woman, right? Which is understandable. But because he's playing the field in the way that he is, I feel like this jealousy thing is going to come into play in the future. We'll see if I'm right about that. Next, we have Jubelle and Wendy. If you know me, you know Jubelle is a little bit triggering because of that damn dangly cross earring. I'm sorry. I know it sometimes offends people when I talk about the dangly cross earring thing, but like, my theory has yet to be disproven. My theory has yet to be disproven when it comes to these TV shows, okay? Not people in real life. on these shows, these guys tend to be the F-boys, but let's get into their connection. So he is very charismatic, right? She's a little bit more chill, but she does love to make people smile. As he's talking about how he approaches dating, he's like, yeah, I love a big romantic gesture. And he says whenever he is with somebody, he treats her like a princess. I hope that is true. Okay. He is with a woman who unfortunately hasn't been in a relationship before. And I say unfortunately, not because it's wrong, but because he is going to dock her marks because of it. She has been in 2 situations and she feels like both of those people weren't serious enough for her. And she wants to date to marry. So she's going into this process being, fully intentional about finding a husband, but he's like, the lack of experience, I don't really know how I feel about that. So he's going to say that that is a red flag, right? So she is going to try to get deeper with him, but honestly, their conversations don't seem as enthusiastic as the first one was. He's connected with somebody else, yeah, but it's like the fact that she is not as out there both sexually and when it comes to just dating experience, he's not trying to be her first serious thing, right? So he does get a little bit more excitement from the conversation they had about turn-ons and like what they like in a physical body. Honestly, this man is gonna be missing out. This man's gonna be missing out because the girl is cute in the face. I feel like she could do her makeup a little bit differently. I don't think it's accentuating her in the right ways, but she's cute in the face and the body. Oh, the girl got body, okay? The girl got body. And the way he's describing, he's gonna like this girl's physique. He's talking about how he loves a woman who can be very spontaneous when it comes to sex. And she's like, honestly, I am more of a like connection type person. I can't just be free with any and everybody. I think I'm gonna need to be married to have the kind of sex that I'm trying to have. And he's like, oh, so you can't just, release your inhibitions, have sex on the kitchen counter or something? She's like, nah. That's going to be a problem for him too. He does not like the lack of experience whatsoever. On the other hand, he is connecting with Josie. Josie loves a little spontaneous moment. She's the one who brought up the whole kitchen counter thing. And he's like, oh, really? Okay, I like where this is going. They were also able to have some deeper conversations. He spoke about being Nigerian. He was born in Germany, but his heritage is Nigerian. His older brothers, I think they are older, they decided that a life in Germany was not their portion. So he unfortunately did not get that like proper sibling relationship because of that. Then his parents also split up, but he believes that they should have split up earlier because they just stayed in that relationship way longer than they should have. So I'm sure he saw some toxic behavior going on in that marriage, right? Josie opens up about being really close to her mother, especially because she had an absent father. She eventually did want to have a relationship with her dad. And when she wrote him a letter, she didn't get a response. And then I'm not quite sure if this is around the same time, but eventually she did find out that he did pass away. This is 6 months before filming that she found out he passed away. And so she now just kind of sees him as somebody who was just a sperm donor. Those are her words, not mine. Instead of the father figure that she would have wished she had in her life. Josie is also interested in a guy named Gunnar. Now, Gunnar is interesting because he's one of the few people in the process. I don't know if there's another person, but he's the one who's highlighted, who says that he does not want kids. And as you can imagine, for a lot of women in the pods, that's not an option for them. They're like, oh, you're sweet, you're great, but I want to have children, right? The only person who is entertaining the idea of dating him is Josie. She likes the fact that he's a bit of a homebody, more of a homebody than she would like, but they do joke about him going through a midlife crisis or whatever, so it's not a complete turnoff, right? This thing that's in her mind though is whether or not she'll be okay with the fact that he doesn't want to have kids. Honestly, if you are on the fence, I would say don't do it. I would say don't do it. So her thought process is, I am okay with it now, right? But as I'm getting older and I'm going to see my friends continue to build families, am I going to feel left out? I might be indifferent now, but that desire may grow as time passes. Baby girl, so say no, okay? Say no. Then things get worse because she says to his face, that she feels like he is not masculine enough for her, and that she's going to be very dominant in that relationship. And obviously he's offended by that, but he's also like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with that information. Like, I am who I am. I don't believe that I'm a weak person. I definitely can take charge when need be. I can even give you examples of when I've been able to show up as a leader. But if you don't believe I'm strong enough for you, there's no way that I can convince you otherwise. So Josie's really struggling with that. It's also to be noted that she had a conversation with Jubelle that really helps her reconcile how she feels about her race and stuff. So she is biracial. Her father was Black. And so she always thought that she was the black sheep of the family. Oh gosh. Because like her skin was different and her hair was different and her eyes were different. And she could not connect with the Black side of her because her dad wasn't in her life. And so Jubelle was able to connect with her in that way because he was always, you know, the odd man out, being a Black man in Germany. So yeah, he definitely was able to just like reel her in a little bit, because you could tell that this is something that she still struggles with. And he's like, be confident in who you are. Ain't no problem. Like, they were really able to connect in a way that she knows that she could connect with Gunnar, but wasn't able to. She's like, I know a white man could understand what I'm saying, but you relate as a Black person. And so I do appreciate the conversation that we're having. So they're going to be at a crossroads for a little bit. But before we finish that conversation, we're going to get to the reveal between Josie and Constantine. When I tell you I was beaming from ear to ear, the way these two were immediately attracted to each other, even before they started kissing, you could tell, oh, they like each other. The proposal seemed so genuine. They were very tactile. The eye contact was off the charts. They both had like glowing reviews about each other. So I absolutely loved that. We're starting real strong with this reveal. I'm hoping that things continue to go this way, because I'm tired of the awkward, like, oh, I don't find this person attractive. Now you have to watch this person force a connection and drag this person all the way down the aisle just to say no at the altar. No, thank you. I genuinely believe in the connection between Constantine and Josie. Jumping back to the whole Gunnar, Josie, Jubelle of it all, right? Jubelle and Gunnar finally have a conversation about who they're dating. So they are now aware that they are both very interested in Josie. Why does Jubelle outright say, you know, I think you're just going to be the safe bet for her. I think she needs a strong guy. She needs a bit of edge. She needs that roughness. And if you don't think that you're going to be, you know, a masculine enough guy for her, you might as well cut your losses, because you don't deserve to be with somebody who you have to constantly prove your masculinity to. And as much as that is true, you ain't right for that. You ain't right for that. This man is planting seeds of doubt, and and here Gunnar is already having a complex about being seen as weak by a woman he wants to marry. And then here you go, like adding fuel to the fire. So anyways, luckily Gunnar's like, I'm going to leave the decision up to her. If she makes the final decision and says that I'm not good for her, then fine. I'm not going to just bow out because of my, you know, my own feelings about what she said. So he goes into the conversation with Josie being optimistic. He's still giving it a chance. And she says that she has made a decision that we don't get to find out because they leave us on a cliffhanger. So with that being said, as always, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.